Well, great news for our men and women in blue. There has been a huge surge in respect for police in America. There are now many reasons for this happening, but I will say that it's overdue no matter what. Now, sadly, though, part of the reason for this greater appreciation has been the mass assassination of police officers throughout this nation. Let's face it, these men and women put their lives on the line every single day they put on the uniform, and some, including one of my nephews, has gone even further by getting tattoos and living as a gang member in order to protect the community. You know, when I was growing up in Harlem, that was a period when appreciation for the police was in absolute free fall. And I must say, there are a lot of lessons learned then that I think are finally being included right now, including police chiefs who are speaking to communities in ways that sort of acknowledges everyone's concerns, even occasionally pointing out that there are rare bad apples and that they will not be tolerated. The big question, though, right now is, where do we go from here? Joining me to discuss, former NYPD Commissioner Bernard Kerik. Commissioner, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Charles.
This is absolutely phenomenal news. Are you surprised at the spike, how quickly it's gone up?
Am I? No, because I've lived through September 11th. I remember the massive spike in support for public servants in the aftermath of September 11th. But look at the losses, 23 from the NYPD, 37 Port Authority cops, 343 firefighters. But you couldn't find anybody in this country to say anything negative about a cop at that time. In the last 12 months, we're 53% up over last year, cops being gunned down. We've had 5 assassinated in Dallas, 3 in Baton Rouge, 2 in Texas, 2 in Maryland, 2 court officers in Texas. Just in the last year, these are pretty much outright assassinations, and I think the country feels it. I think they hear about it more. I think that's part of it. You also have this political arena, and you've heard Donald Trump constantly talk about supporting the men and women in law enforcement and supporting our military. I think that has a little bit to do with it, too.
What about the police chiefs? Because I've been so impressed and encouraged by the way police chiefs speak about these events, and I think it's gone a long way towards that bridge that may, building a bridge between the police and some who may not have trust for the police.
Charles, you were here back in the 90s, right? And when Mayor Giuliani came in 1994, crime started to drop. Up until 96 and 97, nobody really got it. They didn't understand it. They didn't know. They didn't know because they weren't being told. And the mayor started to get into briefing the public. The police chiefs, police commissioners around the country, they've got to do the same thing. You got to let your community know what's going on out there. The bad, the good, what the men and women do on a daily basis, nobody has a clue. Nobody really has a clue. And it's good for the chiefs and the commissioners around the country, get out there and talk to your communities. And like you said early on, you know, we have bad apples sometimes. You know what? They get rooted out. But for the most part, 99.9% of the cops in this country are doing a job that most people wouldn't have the courage to do.
I agree 1,000%. I know the Dallas police chief comes to mind when he talked about everything that a police officer has to be. I mean, when they get in that patrol car, they're going to be someone's guidance counselor that day, someone's marriage counselor that day, someone's truant officer that day. That's a huge responsibility.
There's about 1,000 job descriptions that you could fit in to one description of being a cop, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of people don't realize that.
Commissioner, you mentioned Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton and has really gone around the country, and she's done a lot of events with Black Lives Matters and some mothers of children who died in police-involved shootings. Are you concerned about her presidency and the impact on community relations with police? Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think the support would be there. I don't think that the cops would have the benefit of the doubt. It's a complete 180. In my mind, it's a complete 180. Donald Trump versus her with regard to supporting communities. And I have to tell you, the African-American communities, the ones that have been hardest hit with crime, violent crime, guns, they've been run by Democrats for years. Yeah. You know, I think it's time for a change, and I think Donald Trump could bring that.
Commissioner Kerik, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Charles, thank you.